A gentle sketch of my family as little bunnies gathered under a quiet tree, sharing a simple tea party. This drawing holds my wish to slow down, to be present, to choose time with my family over anything else. It's a reminder that happiness lives in small moments, warm cups, shared laughter, and being together unhurried. It's so cute. This is me, my sisters, and our daughter. This is me and my mother as two deer resting under the same tree. I've lived away from her for almost 10 years, but still miss her in quiet ways. This sketch holds the ache of distance and hope of coming back. It is my wish to be closer to her again, not just in distance but in presence. This sketch is my dream before it becomes real. My artworks on white wall, people pausing, looking, feeling something. I don't know when, but I know this will happen. This drawing is my promise to keep showing up, even on days when it feels far away. I'm already walking towards the exhibition that once lived only in my head. This sketch is me painting in a big, messy art studio. Music is on, paint everywhere, ideas flying, and on the wall, my silver play button quietly watching me work. This year I show up, upload, experiment, fail, laugh, and try again. I grow on my YouTube while doing what I love and not running out and manifesting the silver play button soon. In this sketch, my body is resting instead of breaking. After months of pain from decurvain tenosynovitis, especially in my hand, I am choosing to listen. That injury taught me what pushing through really cost. Finally, it's time to add all these sketches on the wall. This whole vision board is handmade. Every sketch, every line, every feeling. Some of it is about healing, some of it is about dreaming bigger, and some of it is just about being closer to the people I love. I don't know exactly how this year will unfold, but I know how I want to show off. If you are watching this, I hope this year is kind to you too. Let's create, grow, and move forward together. Happy New Year! This year, I wanted to do something different with my art. So instead of chasing trends or what looks pretty on the internet, I decided to paint something much closer to my heart, stories. And that's how this series was born. Over the next 12 months, I am creating 12 paintings, each inspired by a movie or TV show that left a mark on us. Not just the plot and not just the characters, but the feeling it left behind when the screen went black. This series isn't about recording scenes perfectly or making hyper realistic paintings. It's about translating emotions into colors. So today I'm starting the first painting of this year long series and I feel weirdly emotional about it. This painting is inspired by Pride and Prejudice. Not in an obvious way, I'm not painting Mr. Darcy, I promise. I think what I love about this movie is how slow it is. Like, nothing is screaming at you, no one's begging to be loved, and everything just waits. And honestly, I feel like that's such a lost feeling right now. I watched Pride and Prejudice so many times, but this year it hit differently. It felt less like love story and more like a lesson in self-respect. Lizzie or Elizabeth doesn't rush. She doesn't explain herself to people who don't want to understand her. And she definitely doesn't shrink herself to be chosen. And I kept thinking, imagine how peaceful life would feel if we moved like that. If we stopped chasing validation and if we let things unfold instead of forcing them. I feel like this painting is about that energy, soft but firm, gentle but grounded. I'm using really muted color for this one, nothing dramatic, because love that's meant for you doesn't feel chaotic, it feels calm. I think sometimes we confuse waiting with weakness, but Pride and Prejudice shows us that waiting can be strength. Waiting for honesty, for respect, and for something that doesn't ask you to abandon yourself. This is the first painting of my 2026 series, One Movie, One Painting every month. Every painting is about a feeling, a film left behind, not the scene. I knew I wanted to include the bridge and the place where Mr. Darcy proposed, not because the proposal itself, but because of what it represented. There's something about the world of this movie that feels so calm. Like life moves slower there, like people actually wait for the right words, for the right moments, and I think that's why I keep coming back to it. I also included the Bennett house because that's where everything begins. I think this movie teaches us something very gently that you don't have to abandon yourself to be loved. And the river, it feels important too because everything is always flowing, misunderstandings, emotions, time, nothing stays still. I
also added two swans in the river. Swans made whole life, and I love that symbol, but also they move together quietly. No drama, no rush. And then there are two birds in the sky. For me, they represent freedom, the idea that love shouldn't cage you, it should let you breathe. And next month, I'm stepping into a completely different world because the February painting is inspired by Bridgerton. And I already know it's going to feel louder, richer, and a little more daring than this one. More color, more tension, more unspoken desire sitting just beneath the surface. So, while this January painting feels calm and grounded, like choosing patience and dignity, the next one feels like leaning into emotions and longings. And honestly excited and slightly nervous to explore that shift.
Today we are painting something really soft and magical. A deer, but not the realistic wildlife kind. We are painting a dreamy deer. So before I touch the canvas, let me tell you why a deer. Deers have this really delicate balance. They are gentle, but they survive some of the hardest seasons. They are soft but strong, and maybe that's what I want right now to paint softness that survives. also wanted to paint something that feels like growth. That's why the flowers we grow even if we don't notice it every day. Okay, so I'm starting with a very loose sketch. I'm just blocking in where the head will be and where the antler rise and where those big bunch of flower will sit. The painting will look weird for the next 20 minutes and I call this the trust me phase. If you ever feel like your life is in trust me phase where everything looks messy and half done, don't worry. You are probably becoming something beautiful. I want her expressions to feel calm. Like she's holding a whole forest on her head and she's like, yeah, I got this. That's the energy I want in 2026. Imagine the flower melting into the horns like nature designed jewelry for her. I'm taking a little break from the studio today. I'm going to a nearby garden. Sometimes ideas need fresh air. Look at this swans and their baby. They are just floating unbothered, surrounded by green trees and flowers. I sit here for a while and realize loneliness isn't emptiness, it's space. And space is where art is born. This quiet teaches you to observe the way light touches leaves, the way water moves, the way life feels when no one's watching, and slowly, without forcing it, that stillness starts showing up in your work. I return to my dear with a softer heart. I add depth to her eyes and a little warmth in her fur. She feels more alive now, like she carries a story.